Happy 2022, everyone. It is January 1st, 2022. So I have started my year off with a bang, not procrastinating any longer. And I'm making this video for those of you who are either brand new to eXp or maybe you're a veteran and never took the time to navigate through everything, or you just really want to know a little more about the company and what it is that we do. So this video is best used for people who are already eXp so you can follow along. So let me take you through this tour of all this wonderful software and everything that's available to you. And here we go. So expenterprise.com, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, that's where you're going to want to sign in. It's going to look like this. You're going to want to sign into Enterprise. Okay, you're going to use your eXp username and password that you've used 500 times. I strongly recommend that you continually to use the same password over and over and over. And if you have not used a password yet, I also highly suggest that you use a user-friendly password because you may be sharing it from time to time. So do something that doesn't mean too much to everyone. All right, let's get started. So this is your dashboard. This is the most important place you're going to go to with eXp. The very first thing you're going to do is click on my business and click on my dashboard. And surprise, this is why I used January 1st of 2022, because if you take a look, that is my reset date today. So not only are we starting a whole new year, but literally it's a new year for me, which I kind of like. So what I want you guys to look at right here, this is your reset date. Okay, as I told you, mine is January 1st. That's today. So what is that? This keeps track of your sales, how much you've made, and your capping status. What is capping? So there's a couple things I want you to write down somewhere or type or take messages in your notes. Capping with eXp is when you reach a certain level and eXp pays you 100% commission. So check it out. Capping, $80,000 gross, $64,000 net, which is going to be right here. And then you've paid $16,000 in fees to the company. Okay. When you cap eXp, if you participate in the stock program, eXp will reimburse you not reimburse you yet. They will actually give you a capping bonus and buy some shares for you. And those shares have to be vested. Any shares with eXp that eXp gives you, you have to wait 3 years. But any shares that you take out, that you pay for with 5% commission, they're ready to use right away. Okay, so that's just something for you to think about. If you're on the fence, I would definitely do it. And when you have your very first commission check, everyone always forgets about that 5%. So try to keep that in mind. Okay, so also if you cap and complete 20 more transactions, you are called icon. Okay, so you have to do a few things to get the $16,000 in fee back in stock to you, but you get a certain amount right away for becoming icon, and then you have to do some community service and teach some classes, among other things, and I'll show you where to find that information, but that's good information to know. If you look here and you see for some reason that maybe this number is not correct, that means you did not put it into SkySlope most likely, so I would check that out first. So I'll show you what that is as well. But this is your dashboard. This tells you everything. And then just so you know, you need to go underneath and refresh. Okay, so if this number doesn't reflect what you're actually doing, it could be because it's not in SkySlope or you haven't manually refreshed it. And I refreshed it, looks like almost 2 hours ago, and you can only refresh it every 2 hours, right? Okay, so next thing in this is you have to go to, let's try transactions overview. That one will work right away. There's a small glitch in the system where you have to click home. So if it says error 503, just click home and go back. So right here, this actually talks about all of your everything that you're involved in. It'll also tell you what's pending, what's closed. So if you do have something in SkySlope and it's still showing pending, even though it's closed, there's ways we can do that, get it closed for you. And if you click on various things, it'll tell you exactly your capping details, your transaction, any information you want to know. It doesn't hurt to take 20 minutes once a month to just kind of like flip through this and see what's what. And again, it gives all your anniversary dates and everything. So I'm going to click home again, just in case. Then I'm going to click my business. Now, as an agent, you must fill out your agent profile and your expert profile, right? So right here is where all my information is. It talks about every time that you cap, and it just gives you, who your broker is. We're lucky to have Hanan Shaheen. Ann Shaheen's very awesome. She's newly added to right now as our broker. And then you need to fill out your expert profile. Okay. Also, why are you doing this? Because it's in the directory with eXp. So people are going to be looking for you. I promise you. They're going to see how many closings you've had, where you're located, what your strengths are, and they're going to give you referrals. All right. So important that you fill out your profile. And luckily enough, we happen to have an example of a profile. And even if you're new to real estate in general, I always say, you come to us with a separate set of skills, right? Even if you were bartending or waitressing, which is how I started in the 90s, you are an expert in customer service even at that point. Also a psychologist, you could tell people's needs if you need to hover, back off. Every skill that you have will be involved in real estate. So if you haven't done real estate for a while, the way we talk about it now is my team, my team, my team. Okay, so we are a Reach Estate team. So whether you are with us as a business affiliate, just for the first 3 transactions at 10% and 5% after that, and have unlimited access to myself, or you are using us or you're on the, somebody else's team and you're just using us as an affiliate, what we do is we say we are connected with licensed in home inspectors, appraisers, mortgage companies that have access to all different types of loans, et cetera, transaction coordinators. We actually eXp is a global company. Just the Reach Estate team alone has agents all over Florida. As soon as you put something on the MLS, you're advertised onto 95 different websites. So really emphasize your skills and then the skills of the team and how many transactions we've closed last year. So there are numerous people that will speak to you and tell you, and you could just say, my team has closed this amount of transactions in the last year. So I've been licensed since 2001, et cetera, et cetera. I told everybody all my skills, and you need to really put that here. So also, I request that you fill out your profile in Realtor.com. Here, let me actually write this down for you. Okay, so let's switch over here. So we're going to say that you need to fill out your profile in Realtor.com, Zillow. You get free accounts in all of these without even paying, just for basic. So Realtor, Trulia, Enterprise, eXp Workplace. I'll show you where that is, the world, and your MLS and board. You definitely need to do that as well. And your KV core. Okay, so those are the places that you definitely need to set up your profile. Believe me, it will benefit you. Okay, go back home. Now, optional services. So optional service here features KV Core. I guess from my understanding, people pay $300 to $500 a month from this. It's free with eXp. It's your CRM. What is that? That's your contact management system. So with KV Core, you are actually able to set up automatic emails, happy holidays, happy birthday. You can connect, which I'll get into soon. You're supposed to connect your KV Core to your Zillow and your realtor.com. Leads come in, you could do squeeze pages, boost listings, all kinds of fun stuff. So yours at this point should look like this. If not, if it has a green sign up button, definitely click sign up, fill out your information, and look at it really well, because that's the last time you'll be able to be in there and manipulate the address and your phone number and all that. And as far as address is concerned, I would think you use your Siesta Key, the Siesta Key address, which is on Workplace. I'll show you where that is. So let's go back home and let us start with Sky Slope. So let me log in here. Really behooves us to have the same password for everything. That way you don't forget. And like I said, make it shareable friendly so that you're not embarrassed if I have to go in here for you. All right. So real quick, this is Sky Slope. We consider your filing cabinet. And if you're with us, you're going to be added to app files, right? So if you become part of the Reach Estate team, Chad will pay for your app files. Some of you on another team, it'll get paid by somebody else. It's definitely a bonus. It's amazing. So, however, though, you still have to use Sky Slope because, like I said, this is how you're going to get paid. So let's take a peek and let me show you what app files looks like. So, as I said to you before on another call, I have access to all of your app files. I don't have time to, let me see, just get here real quick. I don't have time to look into your app files on my free time because I don't have any free time, right? So this is app files. What's going to happen is you're going to be watching some of my other videos. We're going to go over everything together, of course. Shari, I've got a listing. What do I do? A listing appointment. Shari, how do I get a listing appointment? Like, what types of paperwork do I need? I have a buyer. What do I do? So we're going to go over all that stuff. And then what's going to happen is you're going to come from your showing, because we show all of our own properties, even if you have the listing. And you're going to say, I need to write a contract. So you're going to go to the YouTube channel. And hopefully so this is going to be a little easier this way. This is the YouTube channel to the Reach Estate team that I was telling you about. So here I have all my videos, and this one will be here too, and I'm going to make some more. This talks about, for us, I don't know what date you're watching this, but for us, this is the new FAR contract. This is the financing contingency. I try to stick to the point in all of these. Here's contract to lease, Sky Slope and leases, how to fill out a lease invoice for rental. Some of these are, 5 minutes long. I really try to stick to the point. I also have something here is adding an addendum to a contract, how to fill out a listing agreement, and how to start an app file right here. 2 minutes and 55 seconds, and how to fill out the right-hand side of your app file. It's 10 minutes long. You have to watch these videos, okay? When Everyone tells me when they first start, it takes hours to do all of this, and we're all down to 20 minutes, and you will be too. I need you to, I really need you to do things like this, watch these videos. There's a reason why I made them. And I made them so you can follow along very closely while you're filling out a contract. Okay. So there's no extra fluff in it. I try not to, just as I'm trying very hard not to tell a lot of stories in this one either. Um, because I know when you're writing a contract, you just want to write a contract. You just want to know how to do it. So this is the right hand side of my file. Okay, look at this. So as my veterans know, nothing annoys me more is when an agent tells me to go, check their contract and this is blank. Okay. I hate to sound morbid. There's been deaths, there's been hospitalizations, and then for good things, there's been babies and vacations. And if you treat your business correctly, like a business from the get go, you will be able to go on vacation and you won't have to do a darn thing while you're gone. Why? Because all of your information here is going to be on the right hand side. So, who is in my app file? Carol Schmidt and Devora are both, they work with Cohen and Norris, the title company. Jennifer Kemp is my lifesaver. She's my left arm. She's my transaction coordinator. I am now to the point in my career where I have over 100 agents, and I hear the excuse, I can't afford a transaction coordinator. I want to learn how to do this myself. I will assure you, there probably will come a time when you won't close because you did not have a transaction coordinator. Now that I have 100 people doing, hundreds of deals, nothing bad will happen. And sometimes I sound doom and gloomy, but I like to protect you and build a contract from, as solid as it can be. So nothing will happen in the future. Please do yourself and me a favor and get yourself a transaction coordinator. They will hit all the highlights and they won't be doing the work that you should not be doing. The work that a transaction coordinator does is not revenue generating, it's paperwork, right? You will still be the point of contact for your customer. But why should you call the homeowners association 50 times, have them hang up on you, which has happened over and over and over, and chase to see if a buyer, made their application? So please hire a transaction coordinator. All right. That being said, also, this right-hand side was filled out, had somebody who was going to have root canal. She was literally in the dentist chair, and the listing agent for a rental that was super competitive texted her and said, if you raise your offer $50 a month, your tenant, we like your tenant, they'll get the rental. She's like, oh my God, what do I do? So I was able to dive in here for her, and you're able to cross things out, change things. It's amazing what this software can do because she filled out the right hand side. I got the information changed. I got the signatures from her customer, and I was able to send it to the listing agent because she had all the information. All right. I promise you, this will make your life a whole heck of a lot easier. Let's see if I could just show you. So real quick, the reason why we do this in here, these are all the forms that you'll ever need in a real estate transaction. I've put them all in here. These are eXp forms that are special to eXp only. But then look, every single addendum, whatever you need, will go in there. And miraculously, when you add the contract, let's just say you add the new as is FAR bar contract, you're able to import all the values here from the right hand side, and it pops right and populates into your contract. And I would say about 80% of your contract is written for you. Okay. This is what you need for app files. You could have a photo here, you upload it, and guess what? You can convert it into a PDF. You could take things out, put things in. The best thing from here are signature requests. Okay. So easy to do it from here. And this is where you'll ask for your broker signature for certain things that you need, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go to Sky Slope. Okay, so This was something I was trying to close at the end of the year when I had capped, and unfortunately could not. All right. Where app files, I want you to have everything. Sky Slope is, you're going to tell me it's redundant. So guess what? Let's only give them the information they want. And eXp right now doesn't want a whole heck of a lot from us, which is pretty awesome. And you have to keep in mind that you're within everything that you have executed does not belong to you, it belongs to the broker. Okay, it all belongs to Ann Shaheen. So they have to be very careful with compliant. As of now, we have over 7,000 agents. So we really, need to help them out so they're not overwhelmed. Within 48 hours after any document is executed, it has to go into SkySlope. I don't care if it's a referral, a new construction, whatever it is. 48 hours. You're making your life more difficult and their life more difficult if you wait. And then you're going to get audited. They get audited and they're going to ask you where it is. Nicely, but nobody wants that. My transaction coordinator will put this stuff into SkySlope for me as long as my app files is filled out perfectly 100%. And even if she charges me a little extra, I don't care. Sometimes I do it myself. Definitely do it yourself. This I would recommend doing yourself the first few times so you know what's missing and get the hang of it when eXp tells you you're missing something. So anything that's starred, this is really the most comprehensive. This one. So as you can see, there's a lot starred here, and they wanted to close January 6th, unfortunately, but that's how the ball rolls. Okay. So in this case, I represent the seller. Don't you think I have the seller's email address, her address? Of course I do. eXp doesn't ask me for it. So guess what? I'm not going to give it to them. I've got all of Mike's information as well. They didn't ask me for it. So if eXp doesn't want it on this, I don't have to be as thorough as long as it's in your app files, right? Okay. I do not represent the buyer, so I'm not going to know anything about him, nor should I. Title company is ours, and I just auto-populated all the information. What's kind of cool is when you fill this out and you fill it out a few times and you use the same title company, it'll auto-populate for you. So that's kind of neat. Okay, agent representing the other side. Look, I know her email address. They did not ask me for her email address. Not going to use it. All right, let's go back. Commission, most important tab to any agent, right? So here you put the sales price, you put the commission in, okay? This is where I put my TC's information. Jennifer charged me $475 because she actually put the listing in for me and did everything for when it was executed, because I said that I was going to do it myself because I didn't want to pay the extra money. And a week went by. I kept trying to do it, and for whatever reason, it didn't go into SkySlope. eXp said, nice listing. Where is it? So they got me on it. So I had to put it in here. Okay. These are the comments. And this, for those of you that are using us in the future and are going to be with us for 10% for your first 3 transactions, 5% after that, unless you're a seasoned agent and we're starting you at 5%, right in here, this is what you write. Chad D. Hannah PA receives 7.5% of total commission. And then you write in here, Shari L. Roberts receives 2.5% of total commission. Okay, so when you click save comment, it'll appear in gray down here, and the most recent one will appear up top. That is the division. This is where you write it. Where do you write it? On the commission tab, right here. Okay, now we have showing assistance and we share everything, and I'm going to show you a very messy DA disbursement authorization. It's kind of funny. But everything you put on here goes on your disbursement authorization. What is your disbursement authorization? That is the document where eXp tells the title company how to pay you. Again, that's why this is the most important page that you'll ever deal with. Why is that important? Well, there's two ways about it. I like a DA where they mail me the check, the title company. If you have direct deposit and you have to sign up for direct deposit, I highly recommend that, because if you have a rental or some kind of closing where, now they're still COVID-y and everything's separate, and if you represent the seller, maybe, and then the buyer signs, you don't want to go back to the title company or whatever, they'll mail eXp their check. And once you upload your check, I'll show you where, into SkySlope, you will get paid the next morning if you have direct deposit. I am older. I like paper. So on the DA, it tells me exactly how much I'm getting, and I just feel more comfortable with that. Back in Enterprise, when you go back in there, it'll do the breakdown and show you how much you get paid and all that. But I would just rather see it on a separate check. And most title companies will FedEx it to me. Okay, so real quick, let's take a good look at what this page generates for you. Okay, so remember how I said to you that we share, we share a whole lot of stuff? Well, I have showing assistants for everything. If I can't emphasize enough what I've learned in all these years is to stay close to your farm area. You're going to say, well, I don't have any money. I need to travel all the way up to Port St. Lucie or Miami or the other coast because it's $6,000 or $7,000. I promise you, if you refer everything out and keep generating business, once you get going, you're just going to get checks from everywhere. It's not going to seem like that to you if you're brand new. You're going to say, why would I refer a $16,000 commission when it's only an hour drive? Because guess what? You will not get another lead. Why? Because you're not prospecting, and you're not going to have time because you're driving everywhere. And you think, oh, I just have to take them there once, or I just list the house and throw a lockbox on it. And don't worry, it's only the inspection and the appraisal I need to be there for. I promise you, something's going to come up. You're going to be running over there, and then you're going to have to give away a buyer who wants to see something right now, or a seller who's only available right now for a listing appointment. Or better yet, you should be on the phone making phone calls to expireds and FSBOs. You're just going to have to get used to that. So this property was an hour away from me. And we show everything ourselves. Why? Because nobody knows it better than we do, right? Think about it. If you have a townhouse that looks like 50 other townhouses, and when the market shifts and there's 50 other townhouses for sale and they're all identical, I promise you, if you meet them at the front door and say, by the way, the association, did you know? I know the fee is $380 a month, but they pay for the roof. They pay for the fence. They will pay for the bug spray. They maintain the lot. When you tell them everything and they go back with their realtor and they're talking about which place they want to make an offer on, it's going to be yours. And they don't know why, because you were there. You created the human touch. Not only that, especially with COVID, maybe the seller doesn't want people wandering around their house. There's cameras now, of course, but maybe they just don't want that. And I'm telling you, again, it's part of your job. And no one knows that house better than you, right? And you're just going to tell everyone, and you're going to, back to that bartender or waitress thing, do somebody else's customers want you to follow them around, or do they just want to be greeted at the front door and let them wander around by themselves? So with this being an hour away, I had to have 3 showing assistants, which is insane. So Brian showed it 4 times, then he couldn't show it anymore, and I tried to give him $100, but obviously my math came out wrong. I called Tyler Levine. I said, hey, Tyler, can you show this for me and be my showing assistant? He's absolutely broke his foot. Called Adam Ramity. Adam, can you show it for me? He goes, absolutely. And then Tyler jumped back in, and then my business is Goldman's Enterprises. So I paid everyone, all my showing assistants, right? And Jennifer is my transaction coordinator. So she got paid on this. eXp got their check, and this check was mailed to me. No, I think yeah, it was mailed to me because I represented the seller, and it's fine. It came in the mail the next day. They FedExed it over in a day or so. Um, and then I don't have to worry about Jennifer. I can write it off. And Chad, I paid Chad as well, but he likes to do direct deposit. So it's in here. You can't see it, but his payment is in there. And this is why, like I said, I might be being stubborn or old school, but I do like to, see exactly what it is and I'm getting paid. So that page that I showed you on SkySlope tells eXp how to pay everyone. Okay. Very valuable. And then this tells the title company how to pay everyone. And also at the bottom of this, and this happens to have the old address on it, there's an Atlanta, Georgia address. It's a P.O. box that the title company needs to mail eXp's check to. Now, another thing, don't forget, when you close, you have to have a copy of everyone's checks except for the other agents. So you have to have all of these checks and you have to have an executed closing statement and you upload it into SkySlope. That is how you get paid. And I'll show you where that is. So let's go to checklist. Okay. This, just so I always say, again, excuse me if I offend anybody at eXp, but especially with the holiday season that just passed, I always think of eXp like the little elves working behind the scenes. So they have TSSs, transaction support specialists, and people who make sure we're being compliant, making sure they go through every one of your documents and make sure all your initials and everything's done. If you make a mistake, which I have done, you have in here all the, what do you call it? There's notes in here and things that they need from you. So they'll say, like, they must have said something in here about the executed contract wasn't right. I know they said something about the HOA, and they send you messages. Now, don't freak out if you get red ones, right? How can I have the closing settlement statement, a copy of the agent's checks, and eXp's check uploaded in here if I didn't close? There's no way. But it looks scary. Now, there's two types of emails that come from eXp. One is an auto-generated, no comment one. And then the other one is done by a person. So the one by people really specifically pay attention to, because I'm going to start getting emails soon. You're supposed to close. Where is everything? If you need to extend, I didn't close yet. So don't worry about that. Also, there's other things in here. My MLS doesn't have a waiver of entry form. They just said in the notes, that we don't have to have one of those. So I document everything. I'll tell you where to document everything and talk to the people in eXp. Don't make your life more difficult. If this is a requirement, right, that you don't put in the MLS within 48 hours, tell them why you didn't do that. Otherwise, they're going to say, you need to do this. And then you're going to have to tell them, this is why I didn't do that. So be proactive. That's with everything, customers, managing expectations, all that. And then here's all of your documents. Sometimes there's more documents in here than on the checklist because sometimes there's not a space for them. Now, back to the checklist. eXp doesn't know if you've got an FHA deal. They don't know if it's built before 1978. That's when you need a lead-based paint. So they're telling you they need everything. So you'll learn. It only takes one or two times what you need with each thing and why you don't have. And if you don't know what something is, like a CDD addendum, that's famous. In South Florida, we very rarely have CDDs. We have HOAs and condo associations. I always tell them it's not applicable. We just don't need it. I'd rather talk to them than leave it blank, but I guess I did both here. Or Jennifer did. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what a transaction looks like in SkySlope. Now, to create a listing, so silly. It's awesome. Hi, I'm Sky. Address lookup. Okay, so you can find your property in here, and then it'll ask you commission, all that stuff. When you want to create a transaction, that transaction will be a referral, it'll be a buyer, a rental, any of that stuff. Listings are listings. This is everything else. Okay. Now, see where they have DigiSign here? I'm just a creature of habit. I really don't get things signed from here. And if you are going to be with us, I want everything signed from app files. Okay. And it's much easier. Last item in SkySlope, working documents. So you go to Office Docs. So if you are part of a team, your team will show up at the bottom. The first page, this is everything, every document that the state of Florida gives, right? You can look through here. Actually, the first one, I apologize, not the state of Florida. That was the whole company. This one is everything you would possibly need for the state of Florida. So here's the cool thing. Myself, in conjunction with app files, if there's something new, like the wiring fraud was new for us, I will take this wiring fraud and I will put it into app files. If somebody asks me for something 3 times, okay, I will then put it into your app files, and that's awesome. So it's all in one place. But if it's something weird that, few people need, and I've only had one person eat like a non-occupancy disclosure, nobody's really ever asked me for that. So I just leave that here. And there's also some checklists in here if you want, referral documentation, all kinds of stuff. Team types at a glance. This is like a lot of eXp information in here. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of that. And then, like I said, if you close something and it's still showing as pending, go into it, find out why, and then contact me. We have our very own closer that helps people who are part of our business affiliation, that I could just go right to them and save you the trouble and get everything that you need closed. So that's it for SkySlope and app files, and there's training on all of that. My videos, again, are really used for when you're doing it. They're not training videos. They're videos like, I need to write a contract right now. And I'll show you where all the other videos are that you can learn. So let's go to KV Core real quick. And again, I'm kind of glad that it's making me log in. Usually it saves everything, but this is good to show you how to log into everything. Now, if you log into this and you can't get in, that'd be funny if this doesn't work. Awesome. I'm going to pause this and come right back. Have no idea why that didn't work. I guess I changed my password. So I have one different password. Great. So anywho, once you log in, this is KV Core. KV Core, what is this? This is free. This is where you have all of your contacts. I will show you your CRM. And remember, when I told you at the beginning to please, you don't need that, it was Word. Remember I told you to put your profiles in Realtor, Zillow, Trulia, KV Core, all that stuff? Well, look at this. I also want you to link your KV Core to Zillow and Realtor.com. So link your KV Core to Zillow. And your Realtor.com. Why do you want to do that? Well, let me show you. Look at this. Zillow Direct Connect. These people have been logging into my Zillow, my website, all kinds of stuff. Okay, and you need to know where they come from. So also, you are able to import all of your contacts from your cell phone into here, into your KV Core, okay? And the funny story, which everyone's heard a million times, now it's going to be on tape forever, is everybody's heard me say that in 2018, I had 1,100 contacts on my cell phone, and I didn't know anything about hashtagging and putting people. Do you see how this says buyer, buyer, buyer? There's prospecting, there's all kinds of, there's sellers, there's past customers. You have to, um, you know, hashtag them all into different sections. Well, I didn't do that. And all 1,100 contacts were buyers. So my mother, my father, my hairdresser, my aunt, my dentist, the person who I was working with right now, my next door neighbors, people from 15 years ago, college, everything. And even frenemies got lovely emails from me saying, hey, if you're thinking of buying or selling your house, call me. So let's just say that just started a whole frenzy of weirdness. But I always say like attracts like. So I was a little goofy. So the people that are goofy like me, but trust me, thought it was funny, appreciated it. And I put it on Facebook and I said, hey, I'm a little older and I'm trying some new technology and it didn't work out quite the way I planned. So if you received a weird email from me, please disregard. Or if you're interested in buying or selling or renting real estate, please let me know because I'll be more than happy to tell you. So that was definitely an adventure. So learn how to do that before you do any of that. And where do you learn that? Well, I'll show you in a minute. So these are all the people who are looking at stuff. These are the houses that they pulled up, customers I've dealt with, et cetera, et cetera. Here's a cool thing. Click on your name. Now, this is being recorded, so I could get in trouble for stuff, but I don't ever suggest that new realtors spend money. Okay. Once you tell everybody you're a realtor and you learn how to tap into your sphere of influence for the first few months, and some people don't even spend money. They use their sphere of influence only, and there's classes to take on that. The only thing I spent money on so far is this smart number. Okay, so what is a smart number? The number that you see right now, if you're in KV Core, and you may not be yet, takes a day or so to start if you can't get in. That number that you see in the upper right-hand corner right there, that is a round robin number. So it goes to anybody in eXp anywhere. Okay. I don't know exactly what that means, except it doesn't go to me. So what I did is for $27 a month, I went to the marketplace and I bought the smart number. So I'll show you where to look at that. This is not my cell phone, but it goes right to my cell phone. All right. I don't ever want to take a chance of one of my leads getting shared without me sharing it myself, which believe me, I will probably share it, but I want to make that decision. So real quick, this is your email address, right? And this is your free website. And let's see if it'll go correctly on the first shot. Ta-da, it did. Okay, even I was able to make this website, and I'll show you where to get all this information from. This is your eXp website. Share it's your name squished together, not dotted together. This was a house that I sold a few years ago. Again, with my goofiness, like I said, I was doing an open house, doing Facebook Live for one of the first times, thought it was so cool, until I saw all the mirrors on the bathroom wall, and I was thinking, oh my God, Shari, don't film yourself in a Facebook Live because you look like an idiot that you see on Facebook all the time. Well, of course I did because I didn't know what to do with the phone. And I said, how does everybody like my new dress? One of my girlfriends who owned this house said, oh my God, you're just as goofy as I am. I forgot that you're a realtor. Everything we want to hear, right? Do you want to list my $700,000 house? I'm like, no, of course I did. So she also very nicely let me make it the head of my website here, which I like. This stuff here, so back up here, this is really searching. They search live time in the MLS. I didn't do any of this, okay? This is the last listing I have left to sell. They pull all of this from the MLS, right? So open houses, and again, your profile is there. So you definitely need to fill out your profile, do your website, and this is the website you can put on all your advertising and your business cards. And it uses the Siesta Key address because that's where the old broker was. So that may change. Next part in here, you can go to marketing. Everything that's blue you have to pay for. So definitely read, what it is that you're paying for. Marketplace is another area. So some property boost is free. There's your smart number add-on that you have to pay for. So please read about that. And this talks about stuff. Of course, they're going to recommend some things. Like I said, try not to spend any money and ask around. You guys have enough to do. You've never been a realtor. Your sphere of influence is ripe. It's never been touched by you. So try that first. Support and training, biggest thing. Courses. Okay, courses for agents. You guys are going to take the agent success plan. Okay, well, here's a quick start. So you're going to do that too, and you're going to do the agent success plan. This is a 4-week course. You don't have to take it in 4 weeks. And once a week, it's so cool. They ask you to, I'm reading as I'm talking. So they ask you to, I forgot what I was going to say, but they have a live webinar once a week, which is awesome. So here's your quick start, bundled courses, agent, like anything you ever need to know. So the cool thing about kvCORE, and people might think it's bad, they really don't want to talk to you. So the bot that they designed is so super smart that here's a webinar schedule, that everything really can be solved on your own here. Okay. And there's people in the world and elsewhere and workplace that'll help you with this. So definitely look through your kvCORE. That's a whole lesson of itself. If you don't get kvCORE within 5 days, definitely contact me. Something's wrong. We'll go into customer technical support in the world, and we'll get it fixed. Okay. Let's go back home. Okay. For some reason, I had that open. All right. By the way, all this stuff that I keep skipping at the top, you can do on your own time. There's the world. We'll do that. And I save that for last. Okay. This is not where you get your business cards from. Okay. I will show you where to do that. This is where you get your free logos from. I wouldn't buy my signs here either. You could, if you want to, get a few. There's a lot of local places that'll make a nice sign for you as well. Here's the eXp Marketing Center. It's amazing. Yours is not going to look like mine. Don't worry. Reason being, you don't have any material yet. So let me sign in for you real fast. Okay. So again, judge me, don't judge me. I don't care. This is the way I do my business. This is the way my house looks. This is the way I operate my life. I am a creature of habit. I like to keep consistency. All of my marketing material looks the same. Okay. Why? I didn't put eXp Happy New Year. Oh, maybe I did. And I did create that. I was supposed to post it today. Maybe I should. We'll have to take a look at it. Let's see. All of my Westcott Open House. I kind of like the view. So you can get all these templates, and all it is, I mean, I don't care how user savvy, technologically savvy you are. It's very user friendly. If you look, it's highlighted. I could take this picture out and swap them. I can import my photos from the MLS. Now, keep in mind something. You can create these flyers from other people's listings. If it says any broker advertise, yes, and you have to ask permission for the photos. Okay, please don't forget that. Although my MLS has something now called a certified photographer where you can use their photos at will. So that's a new thing. We'll go into that at another date. Please get in writing from the realtor. Texts are no good. Has to be an email where they say you have permission to take my photos. I will tell you all right now, if you ever see a listing of mine, take it. Go on the MLS, use my photos, advertise it. I don't care who sells the property. The seller may care if I sell it for 4% instead of 6%. That's called the dual variable rate. However, I don't care. So if you want to list my property as your own, swap my photo out, swap out my name and information, this constitutes as permission. Okay? So I use the same thing over and over, and you download this, okay? You never ever share this directly to your social media from here. Why? It shows up as a link. Who opens a link? Nobody. Certainly not me. Um, so what's funny is other agents use this, and I'll share your stuff with your photo and your information because, again, don't need to take the credit. But my friends on Facebook think it's another one of my listings. They're like, "Oh my God, you're so busy." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm killing it." So consistency to me is key. And again, I see things as a whole. I don't click on a link. So if you look at this, I always put the money shot here, the eye popping photo here. Okay. And to me, this is amazing. And frankly, this is what everyone in the world thinks we all live on in Florida, right? This is Lake Worth in the middle of nowhere near water, but apparently Lake Charleston has a whole heck of a lot of lakes, hence the name. But people in New York, Oregon, California, you know, freezing snow mountains thinks that everyone in Florida lives like this. So that's the money shot I chose. As you can see, the house was a bit older, sold right away, thank God. But, you know, I just wasn't going to use an older kitchen as a photo that they could like see clear as day. They get a good enough view of the kitchen here. And it's funny, Chad and I always say, take what you have and make it shiny. These floors, definitely right now, everybody's doing the gray tile that looks like wood. These shiny floors, at least they cleaned, right? So she took what she had, she made it shiny. Nobody said when they came to see the house, oh my God, I have to spend so much money in updating. They didn't care. The house had an awesome layout, ridiculous square footage on the lake, brand new garage door, which everyone was talking about. That's the funniest thing in the world. And she took what she had and she made it really nice, and she did an amazing job. So that's what that kind of flyer looks like. As you can see, this is so this was another one right here. There wasn't anything too spectacular. This is the one I'm closing on the 6th, but this photo is pretty nice. It's a 55 and over. So, you know, also you can get, if you're looking, you can see open house signs. Let's see. And you can brand stuff as your own. So this right here, I did brand this one, thank goodness. This is some front-facing consumer material. So you want to show this to a buyer. Why does a buyer not want to go right to the listing agent, wants to go for you? Memorize all of this stuff and show them how you're going to protect them. And you can use this as marketing material, front-facing material. If you go on a buy with the buyer's appointment, stick it in the eXp folder, whatever you want to do. We have eXp letterhead in here, and you find it all in here. You just have to explore on your own. Here's an open house guest register. You could switch out the photo for yours, the sign, the front of the house for yours, or do it directly through KV Core. But everything here that you need is here. Again, you can download anything you want for free and use Vistaprint or whatever you want to use to do it. Okay, workplace. Boy, doing this home by myself is so much shorter than in person. So that's kind of cool. Welcome to Workplace, the Facebook for eXp. The Workplace is ridiculously amazing. Why? There is recorded content in here. You could chat people up. So Anne Shaheen is our broker. And before she put the do not disturb, she wished me, we wish each other a happy new year. Sandy is our TSS. I guess they all put that on. You can get anyone in the company on here. And again, this is why it's so important that you fill out your profile, because people are going to be reading your profile. All right. So this is the chat part of it. I mean, these are the managing brokers. These are people that work with the eXp. I mean, this is so you could talk to anyone. It's totally amazing. I highly suggest you look at my groups and pause and take a photo of them. Okay, the further down we get, the less maybe, and interesting it is, KV Core, but agent compliance, that has to go. There's so much stuff. eXp agent healthcare. Best healthcare I ever had. All I'm going to say, go ahead and if you have healthcare now, you can send them your current plan and they'll tell you whether or not they can beat it. Or if you have none, I'm telling you, I save a ton of money by using them. So these are just all the groups I belong to. But the most important, Florida State Group, Florida State Referral Group, the eXp Referral Network, announcement, the Florida State Video and Training Channel, eXp University, of course, the Reach Estate team. Super duper important. Let's go to the Florida State Group. That's Ann. Ann is our broker. See more. Guys, it's a pinned post. This is the most important post ever. So this tells you everything you need to know. Where do I, how do I, it's all here. I'm available, obviously, for you to call me, but you don't have to. You can go to here first. eXp recommends, and we all highly recommend, you go to at least one Florida State meeting, Tuesday morning from 9:30 to 10 in the Florida Auditorium, and then you stay for new orientation right after, whether you're new, if you're just new to eXp. I go to every single one of these meetings and I furiously take notes and email them out to everybody. Do I need to, then you're thinking, do you need to go? I think so. I mean, you can listen on your phone app, you could do whatever you want. Sometimes they just, say go team. And sometimes there's one piece of information that I had been doing wrong and didn't know you couldn't do it until now. And now I know you need to do it this way, or you don't have to do it. I just love being the first to know about things. On the FHA addendum, they got permission again to have the agent be the one to sign. We don't need the broker to sign. And I found that out before anybody knew about it, emailed everybody in all the groups that we're affiliated with and gave them the news. So you're probably thinking, well, then I don't need to go. You need to go. You really need to know what's going on. You need to know about eXp. And frankly, it makes me feel better. And we're mainly, we've got a whole bunch of offices, but we're very virtual. So this brings everyone together. Now, I'm such a nerd that I actually go to the 8:45 to 9:30 agent exchange. That is where you have your broker's undivided attention. And I try to keep my mouth shut, and it never works. I wait to see if anybody has a burning question, and then I bring it up. And I'm actually going to bring something up this coming Tuesday. Once everybody finishes saying Happy New Year, that's when agents just say, hey, I have a situation. You can be specific. In the Florida State meeting, they want you to kind of just listen and type your answer or question in the chat box. But in the Florida Agent Broker Exchange, almost all our brokers are in there. We have one broker and 4 or 5 managing brokers. They're all there. We even have compliance in there. Let's say you have a question you don't even know you have, someone else is going to ask it and you're going to learn something. I just think it's amazing. Okay, look at this. Florida Resource Guide. So important. Guys, I love this because this is very narcissistic, self-centered, and selfish. This helps you deal with whatever eXp agents, whatever real estate agents care about, okay? What do you care about? Well, I care about setting up your enterprise, setting up SkySlope, forms and required documents. Look at this. How do I get my business cards? Please don't ask me. When we joined, it took us an hour and a half to do our business cards. And when Chad called technical support, it took 3 minutes. So you're not going to ask me, where do I get my business card? You're not going to ask me, where do I get my logos? What are the guidelines? Look at this. It's so cool. New process of getting, let's say you form your own team, which you're allowed to, or you want to do some advertising, and please be compliant. I went to a really scary class, which I'll show you, with DBPR. And guess what? The biggest fine and mistake everybody made was with marketing. So you so don't want to do that. These are our, what is eXp agent healthcare? What's the preferred partner program? What's express offers? So amazing. Okay, here's another thing. It's in the pin post too, but people are going to ask you, what's your broker's license number? What the heck? Why do you want to know that? It's usually a rental, a corporation in order for you to get paid, right? Funnels of communication. How do I contact my broker? HUD information. That's when you deal with foreclosures. Mailing. I mean, guys, this is so fascinating. And I'll be to the point. I am not the one you call to say, where do I email the broker? Of course, I'll tell you. But I'd rather you went here and say, how do I email my broker? And ta-da, it's right there. Agent contribution forms, most of the stuff I have. How do I opt into stock? I need, somebody actually asked me, since I've been with eXp, a copy of the broker's license. So weird, but okay. Direct deposit change form. Oh, super important. Someone's going to ask you for your earned emissions and insurance policy. Where do I get that? Here. Like, here's all this cool stuff. Okay. KV Core training, KV Core technical support. Believe me, you're going to want that. OpCity. OpCity and Lemon Brew, or I think Ojo. I forget what it was, but I know OpCity. I've used that. I don't care if you're new, old, or whatever. We had a newer agent that uses OpCity. They take a lot of, they take 35%, eXp takes 20%, and Chad and I take a total of 10%. And you're thinking, why am I going to do that? Well, good. 100% of nothing is nothing, and nothing is nothing. So I'd rather learn, get OpCity, which what it is it's a lead generation program, an app that goes on your phone, and you're going to get calls that say, somebody in Wellington wants to buy a $450,000 house. Do you want to take the call? No, I'm too busy. Thank you anyway. Of course I do. One of our agents manipulated the system and got a $1.7 million lead that she just closed. Okay. And yeah, she had to give 35 and 10 and 20, but it was new construction. She didn't do a whole heck of a lot. And it was amazing. What if you get a rental and it's, you're showing them 15 places and you're exhausted? Guess what? So in the beginning, you're getting paid to learn. In real estate, your first 1 or 2 transactions, you'll feel so much better about going through a transaction. You're not going to know what I know in 21 years of real estate, of course, because that's why you need to be affiliated with the Reach Estate team. Just a little punchline there. But you're going to know how the system works. You're going to know the procedure. And if you get paid to do it, why not? Mentor program. So if you're watching this, you have a choice. You can get, if you have not closed 3 transactions in the past year, you need to get a mentor, and they take an additional 20%. So it's eXp is 80-20 no matter who you are until you cap. Mentor programs another 20%. If you go with the Reach Estate team or a business affiliate, however you want to use us, we only take 10%, as I showed you, 7.5 to Chad, 2.5 to me. Okay, for your first 3 transactions, just like the mentor program. Then after that, you can stay with us for 5%, or you can go on your merry way. You can leave at any time you want, but if you haven't closed 3 transactions, please be aware you will be thrown back into the mentor program. If you forgot to do direct deposit, here it is. What's icon status? If you want to listen, eXp as of now, this again is January 1st, 2022, you're allowed 3 personal transactions a year. What does that mean? You only have to pay eXp $315 and you get to keep all the commission. Woohoo! That's pretty amazing. Regis information, you can use some of these offices for free. I've used, we've got offices, please contact me all over the state. Nobody cares if you go there, it's awesome. But if you can't find one, you can go into a Regis for free. Revenue share, Sky Slope. Look at all this stuff, guys. Sky Slope and getting paid. Duh. If you don't read this, you're nuts. You got to read and find out how to do it. Stock information, training and continuing education. This is all about you. Okay. So if you read nothing or pay attention to nothing I tell you to do, at least care about yourself and make sure you're compliant. So this document again is right here in the Florida State Group. Okay, so Don't forget, if you don't belong to the group, it's just like, what do you call it? Facebook. So you have to ask for permission. They let everybody in. People are going to ask you for your corporate license. This is not the agent's mailing address, right? This is not for agents' mail or checks, okay? Just people, I don't know, ask for that for whatever reason. Thursday training day schedule. Every Thursday, they have, that's not going to work because I usually use a different browser. But the calendar is here. That's the Florida, it goes in the world, right? So that's the Florida agent training day schedule. I've taught many classes and plan to teach many in 2022. Florida files are in workplace, anything that you need to know, policy and procedures. Now, this is training, 50 plus hours of eXp training. Okay, so you could watch my videos. There's training with your board. I know there is. There's training with the world. There's training in workplace. There is so much training. Here's your corporate license, any weird stuff that they ask, right? EIN number, NAID number for HUD, that's for selling foreclosures. Here's where you mail the check. Now, you would only need to know this for a rental. Title companies have specific instructions not to give you the check, just a copy of it, don't forget. But this is where everything gets mailed, right? Remember I told you, don't ask me, where you get everything signed. If you need a document signed by the broker, which has anything to do with commission, for sure, it's florida.sign@exprealty.net. Okay, and you would do a signature request for map files, and Anne signed one for me yesterday on New Year's Eve. I didn't mean for her to do it yesterday, but she did. Broker questions. Hopefully I'll be able to answer all your questions. I usually am. If it has something to do with legal or putting something on the contract I'm not sure about or commission, I'm not the broker. So I'll probably go into the world with you for you, or you can go by yourself, but I'll be waiting and waiting and waiting to hear your answer. So I don't mind going, because if I don't know it, it's a doozy. But sometimes you might have a general broker question and you could just send it and any one of the managing brokers will answer your question. Okay. Again, signing docs by the broker, signature ready. Here's where everything is. Now, so the Florida State Group is just a place to put, hello, Happy New Year, asking questions. If one of you, and you're on with us, asks a question, I will die, because that means you didn't call me to answer the question, and that's my job. So as you can see, there's a couple things here. Now, Florida State Referral Group. This is where I talked about referrals. I have to tell you guys, I have never given out and shared more referrals and deals and financials and money and made more money in, now it'll be 20 years of real estate, right? Or 21 years of real estate. I've capped every year since I've been at eXp, and some title companies laugh at my DAs because you saw the other one of how split up it was, and they're like, you need to get a different job. I'm like, that's funny, because I've learned how to leverage myself now and realize that I don't need to do everything, and people can do things as well as I can. Okay. And once you get that in your head, you can concentrate on revenue, earning, productivity. That's the right word. So keep that in mind. So here's a referral group. Look, some Happy New Year's. Check it out. But they need this. Danny needs a buyer's agent. 30% referral fee. That's so cool. Daytona Beach. They needed something today. If he was on our team, I would have had somebody for him. Lear, Charlotte counties, Tampa. Now look at this. Remember I told you that you had to have a really good profile? So look at this girl. I would just hire her by looking at this. Look at all the names after her name. Icon, Tampa Bay Waterfront Homes. Look at Ashley Crawford. She's a mentor, Florida Inglewood, Sarasota. It tells you everything about people. When they have like this, Mm, not so much, you know? So you really want to make your, you see the difference? Look at this one. You see this? This person really put their profile together, okay? And they look experienced. So it's all about perception too. So this is where you would, I mean, ask me first if you're with us and say, Shari, who do we have in, Jacksonville? We have people. We have REO specialists. We have Airbnb specialists. We have all kinds of specialists. So commercial specialists, listing agents all over the place, buyers agents, and Chad always says contribution equals compensation. So if you're going to do a transaction, the best thing to do is give it to someone and take a referral fee. I only take 25%, but um, you know, I've done the other way around where I've given the agent 30% because they're more than a showing assistant, but I do all the paperwork, so I'm going to take more. You know, if you need help with that, we'll talk about it and I'll pair you up with somebody that'll be great to work with. This is awesome. Someone selling their house in Florida, buying a house in Georgia, why shouldn't you get a 25 to 30%? Look at this. Looking for an agent in Sunny Isles or Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood. Client is looking to buy and sell. Oh my goodness. I should definitely push pause on this one. So when I see things like this, but look at all these people, I usually take a picture of it and send it to one of our agents who are down there. Oh, Howard Jenkins. Watch this. Oops. So he's on our team. Okay. And hopefully I just helped him get something. So, all right. So you see how this works? A lot of Florida stuff. Arizona. See? So this is how you spread the wealth. And also, I always think it's good when someone's, let's say they sell a house here and they're buying it somewhere else. You're going to need to be an advocate for them to the other agent and reassure the other agent that their house here is going to close. So it's nice if it's an eXp agent and we all work together on it, right? Especially if you get the full commission on the sale and a 25 to 30% commission on the buy. Last thing in here, Florida State Video and Training Channel. Okay. Super duper important. Anything by Stefan Sin is awesome. He's an attorney. These are past trainings. So you really should go live. But if you can't, it's all here. Yara and I did this one Thursday, 12/9. We did this together. Russ, and you'll hear my voice all over this. I tried to be quiet, I couldn't. He discussed the new contract. So these are the ones you watch before you get an agent. Okay. Let's see what else. We did this one. This, just forgive the audio, but it's really interesting. It's a great review of trends. That's what Chad had said. So all this stuff is just amazing. And this is what you watch on your own time, right? And it'll tell you where to get things. Here's your first 30 days. Guys, there is so much training. You just have to access it. Okay. This is another one we did. We just did a whole bunch of trainings. I really love teaching and sharing and making sure that this is the scary one. This lady talked in such a soft voice, and you never ever want to be in front of DBPR. Never. Like, I shook the whole time I watched this presentation, and she was so sweet. She's like, if you do this, you're going to lose your license forever. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. So this is workplace again, and this is where you can watch everything and just explore and see what groups you want to join. But you have to join the Florida State group, the Florida State referral group. If that's the only two things you do, that is the most important thing. Now, last thing. is the world. So hopefully everyone can see this or I'll be very sad. All right, this is the world. Let me make sure. Okay, I'm just going to hope you could see the world. If not, we'll have to figure that out. All right, here's the world. You're going to go to, click on broker staterooms, Florida, and you are in the Florida State Broker Room. This is where you're going to go and talk to people. You're going to click the board here, and you will be able to sign up as soon as you walk in. That's the number one thing you have to do is they'll say, whether you need a transaction support specialist or, who it is that you need. So here it is. There's none today. So I can't show it to you because it's New Year's Day. Here's a ticket. This is when you want to talk to brokers, and this is when you need to talk to payment compliance, and this is when you need to talk to contract compliance. Now, 2 places to go for sure. Florida Auditorium. This is where all your classes are. Okay, so you're gonna stand up. Now, every newbie has walked up on the stage by mistake. Oops. This is where your Florida training classes are. This is where the broker meeting is. Now you can zoom here. No one can see what you're doing, and nobody can hear you because your microphone is off. If you're at the broker meeting and they're asking questions, you can give answers, everything's in here. Here's the cool thing. They're going to upload documents into here. You're going to click on them and they'll just magically show up on your computer. It's ridiculously crazy. You can look at the right web screen, main, left, podium, main stage. I can't see a blessed thing, so I have to do that. Okay, you won't be able to click on anything here, but at least you'll be able to see it. Anything that'll be click onable will be in here. So let me zap back out of that. And then if you want to talk, hello, hello, see, this is when you're talking. And it'll say down here, Shari Roberts is talking. Just to show you quick. Now, you can click on your profile here. This is where you need to put another place you need to put your profile. It will take you away from this, but just so you know, so you're going to click, this is my stuff. You can't have any spaces in what shows above your head for some reason. So it took me 5 tries. When you change your name, it doesn't show up till you leave the world and come back in, okay? So I had to figure out how many dots it would take to, hopefully this goes away. I forget, it doesn't go away so quick. So until you walk back out and come back in. All right, let's go to broker state rooms. Let's go back to Florida. That's the one glitch in the system. You have to go back out. You can't just walk out the door for whatever reason. If I walked out this door and left this room, I'd end up in the welcome area. You can come here at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want. Sky Slope How To for agents, how to assess your transaction and enterprise, document checklists. It's amazing. Our platforms explained onboarding status of anyone underneath you, onboarding checklist, same thing, getting started, orientation, and look at that, the agent resource guide, which is worth $100. You can also view your avatar. And again, I've looked this same way forever. I don't change my stuff, and everybody knows who I am. So normal camera. And then when you're in the auditorium, right, and they ask you to cheer, they ask you to, let's see, clap. So you can clap for someone, or you could just do nothing if you think it's ridiculous. I kind of like it. You can dance. You can do all kinds of stuff. Now this, so you can go to technical support outpost, which is amazing. The lobby, same thing. If you have a technical support issue, they'll fix most things. They'll tell you what they won't fix, but there's almost nothing that they won't fix. And you just take a number and you wait your turn. Okay. And we can, and I mean, this is just crazy. Like I can sit, wait my turn, stand up. So there's a lot of training to do in the world, but you can meet anyone in the whole entire world. In the world, like I said, it's completely amazing. So I hope you enjoyed my onboarding. Hope you sign the team agreement after this, or the affiliate agreement, however you want to be with us. Remember, you can be part of a group, and you can also be with us, and you can start your own team, whatever you'd like to do. So feel free to contact Chad or I. This is Shari Roberts signing off. Good luck, congratulations, and here is to a fantastic year ahead.